Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to solve day 19 problem of this month on LeetCode. Before starting, if you guys haven't subscribed my YouTube channel yet, then please go ahead and subscribe it. Now without any delay, let's get started with today's problem. So today I am going to solve problem number 200, number of islands. Okay, so this question is very important, and I have seen such questions in many companies like Amazon, LinkedIn. Okay, so mark this question as important. Okay, so now let's read the problem statement. So in this problem we have given a 2D binary grid, okay, and where 1 is representing land and 0 is representing water. Okay, and we have to just return the number of islands, and these islands is surrounded by water, right, and is formed by connecting adjacent lands horizontally or vertically. Okay, so what it is saying here, this is one island, okay, and this is a different island. Okay, so we don't treat these two as a single island because they are connected diagonally. Okay, so we have to treat them as separate island. Okay, so see here, is formed by connecting adjacent lands horizontally or vertically, right, and we have to assume all four edges of the grid are all surrounded by water. Okay, so if this is our array, okay, so what question is saying that it is surrounded by water. Okay, so I am showing it with blue color pencil, so it is surrounded by water only. Okay, and here this one is showing land and 0 is showing water. Okay, so we have to just find out how many islands are there in our grid array. Okay, so here see, I can form the islands horizontally. Okay, if the two lands are connected vertically, then they are just one island. If two lands are connected horizontally, then this is just one island. Okay, so I hope that you guys are clear with this, right? So this is a vertically case. Okay, if two lands are connected vertically, then simply means that they are forming one island. If two lands are connected horizontally, then simply means that they are forming one island. If two lands are connected diagonally, then simply means they are total two islands. Okay, not one, two islands. Okay, so see here, this, see these, all these ones. Okay, the red color icon. Okay, red color pencil. Okay, so see, all these are connected either horizontally or vertically, right? This island, see all the ones in this island. Okay, so this one, all these ones are connected, you can say horizontally, all these ones are connected vertically, all these ones are connected vertically, and all these ones are connected vertically, right? So this is just land. Okay, so everything inside this is land, right, and it is forming one island. Okay, so I hope that you guys are clear. Okay, so I have formed one island, either visiting horizontally or vertically, right? So in this case my output is 1 because there is only a single island. Okay, and in this example too, this one and this one both are connected horizontally, this one and this one both are connected vertically, this one and this one both are connected vertically, this one and this one are connected diagonally, so these are different islands. Okay, so this is one island. Okay, this is one island, and then this one, in the top it's water only, in the right side water only, in the left side water only, in the bottom it's water only, in the diagonal we don't need to check diagonally actually, right? So this is one more island, so total count is 2, and in the end this is one more island, right? So in this case our output is 3, right? So total 3 islands, one is this one, second this one, third is this one, right? So I hope that you guys are clear with the problem statement and what we actually need to find, right? So now how we are going to solve this problem. Okay, so I am going to solve this problem using DFS. Okay, so I am going to iterate over each row and column one by one. Okay, but before that, let's start the writing the code with some base conditions. Okay, so let's find the number of rows in my grid. Okay, so how we are going to find the number of rows in my grid? So there is one simple formula: int rows is equal to grid dot length. Okay, grid dot length. So this is going to give me the number of rows. And how I'm going to get the number of columns? So I'm going to write int cols is equal to just pick one row. Okay, so I am picking a 0th row. Okay, and dot length, so it is going to give me the number of columns. Okay, then after that I have to make a count of number of islands, right? Here one count, and then I have found one more island, so I am incrementing the count to 2. Then I find one more island, then I am incrementing the count to 3. Okay, so for that I have to store my result somewhere, right? So for that I am going to create one variable int count, and I am starting it with 0, and in this count actually I am going to return my result. Okay, so inside this I am going to run 2 loops. Okay, first for iterating over a row. Okay, so for int I is equal to 0, I is less than rows, and I plus plus. Okay, and then there is one more loop, int j is equal to 0, j is less than cols j plus plus, and inside this I am going to check if grid, okay, this is grid array, grid of I j, that is I am firstly checking this cell, right? Grid, if both I and j both are 0 initially. Okay, first I is 0, then I am going to run j loop. So I and j both are 0. Okay, so grid of I of j is equal to 1. That simply means that I have found one starting point. Okay, so see here one more thing, characters are given, right? So here I have to write it like this. Okay, grid of I of j is either this 0 or 1. Okay, so here if I found that there is one land piece, okay, if I found that there is one land piece, then what I'm going to do, from here I'm going to search in the left side, in the right side, in the top side, in the left side, in the bottom side, everywhere wherever I found one land, I am just going to connect it. Okay, so simply what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just mark these as visited. Okay, so here if I found one land piece, okay, initially if I found one starting point, then I am going to mark it as visited. So here I am going to write, okay, so initially I am at this position, right? So I am going to mark it as visited, and all the left and right of this. So I go to the left, go to the right of this one. This is one land piece, so I mark it to visited. Then I am going to go in the bottom. Then I'm going to mark it as visited. Then I'm going to go to the bottom and going to mark it as visited. Okay. So whatever land that is connected horizontally or vertically, I am going to mark them as visited. Okay. How I'm going to mark them as visited? So I'm going to call one method, dfs method. Okay, so if this is equal to 1, then in that case I'm going to call one method dfs. In this dfs I am passing my grid array, 2D array. I am passing my value of my I, value of j, and number of my rows and number of my columns. Okay, so if I found one land here at any starting point, definitely one of my island is going to start. Okay, definitely I have to make one count. So if I found a grid of I of j is equal to 1, okay, then I'm going to call this method, and this method is going to mark all the horizontally or vertically connected nodes or connected values which are 1, okay, which are land values. Okay, horizontally and vertically connected lands, mark, it's going to mark them as visited, and I am going to increment the count. Okay, that simply means that I have found one island. Okay, and in the end I have to just return the count. Okay, so now it's time to define this dfs method. Okay, so let's define it. So here I am going to call one void method, private void dfs method. In this dfs method, this is the character grid, character array grid, right? So I am going to pass this grid, then values int I, int j, then int rows, int calls, right? And inside this I have to mark them as visited. Okay, so here simply I'm going to write if grid, here grid of I comma j, I am going to mark it as visited. So I am just changing the value it to, let's say, capital V. Okay, so this is done. After that I am going to check for the boundary conditions as well, because here this is my 0th row, right? This is my first row, this is my second row, and this is third row. Okay, so only when I am in first row I can check in the top, right? And if I am here only, then I can't, I'm not able to check. Okay, I'm not going to check in the top because this is not a boundary, this is a boundary condition, right? Here my row is equal to -1 and this is not a possible, right? So this is boundary condition, so here I'm not going to check. So here I'm simply going to write if the value of my I is greater than 0, then in this case only I can check in the top, right? And grid of, in the top grid of one row up, right? One row up I of j, if this is equal to 1, then in that case I have to call for DFS, right? DFS method, and in DFS method same array, and I have to pass I -1, because after this I have to change the value of the upper land as visited, right? So for that I am going to call again this method I -1. This is going to be j, and this is going to be rows, and this is going to be calls. Okay, this is done. So here I am checking top. Okay, I am checking top. So again I have to write this if condition total 4 times. Control Z, here control V, ignore it. So here, okay, here it's top. So here let's check for the bottom. Okay, so if I is, here I have to write I is less than rows -1. Okay, so that simply means if it is not the last row. Okay, because if it's the last row, then definitely I can't check in the bottom row. Okay, then I have to check grid of I +1 j. If it is equal to 1, then I have to call this method I +1 rows column, and here bottom. Okay, this is done. Then after that let's check in the left, and here we are going to check in the right. Okay, and every time we are going to mark them as visited. Okay, every time when I'm calling this DFS. So here if my j is greater than 0, and then I'm checking the left, so grid I, and here j -1, right? And here DFS grid I, and here j -1. Here if my j is less than, if it is not the last column, okay, j is less than calls -1, then grid of I j +1. Okay, so here I am checking the right side, right? So I hope that you guys are clear. So this code is very simple, right? Just writing the same story that I have explained here. I am going to check in the top, then bottom, then left, then right, and also carefully noting that it is not a boundary condition. Okay, so only if I am here, right? Let's suppose if I am here, then only I can check in the top, in the left, in the right, and in the bottom. Okay, if I am here, then I can check in the left side, bottom. I can't check in the right side because this is out of this is a boundary condition, right? So here I can't check in the top as well, right? So I hope that you guys are clear. That is why I'm writing it like this. All this j, my j is less than. Okay, so this is done. Okay, so now let's run the code and see if there are any code issues. Or so see, all the test cases has been accepted. Now let me submit the code. So see, our solution is accepted and the runtime is also very good, just 2 milliseconds, and it beats 99.65% of users with Java. So I hope that you guys are able to understand today's problem, and if you guys still have any doubts, then please feel free to ask in comment section. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Keep coding and keep practicing. Meet you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.